Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about showreels and how you can get your video to be the best it can be to get the job. Because of the situation we're in right now, a lot of companies aren't holding any auditions where you can physically go. You'll most likely be sending off your video as your audition. I'm gonna talk you through my best tips for creating your video and what I did when I created mine. So to begin with, I am going to be talking about classical audition videos. However, at the end, I am going to briefly touch on contemporary showreels and also musical theatre and jazz showreels. If you're auditioning for a classical ballet company, then you will need a video of you doing a ballet class. They will most likely want a classical solo, and sometimes they will also want a contemporary solo. The video which you're going to create will consist of a short bar and then some exercises in the center. This brings me to my first tip, which is to plan out your video before you even start. You want to plan out what type of exercises you're going to do. So if you're going to do pliés, tendus, jetés, if you want to miss out frappés, and you want to do a longer adage, you just need to plan out what exercises you want to do and which ones are going to make you look your best. Once you've decided the exercise you're going to do, then it's important to choreograph your class and practice it a good few times before you then go on to film it. I also recommend timing each exercise, adding them all up so you make sure that it's not too long. Be clever with what you show. When you're planning out your video, you want to think what your strengths are and show them. This is going to make you stand out if you really show that specific thing that you're really good at. For example, if you're a great turner, then maybe you want to make that exercise a bit longer and you want to show all pirouettes. So then if you're not so good at adage, say, you can make that exercise slightly shorter to compensate from making the pirouette exercise a bit longer. I just don't see the point in doing a really long adage if you're not so good at that, and then showing not as many pirouettes when you can execute that pirouette exercise a lot better than the adage. So it's just about working all of that out before you start to choreograph your class. Before you start choreographing, it's important to take the time to listen to the music which you want to use. So I just used music off Spotify. There's a lot of ballet music on there. There's many different classes. Once you have the music, then you can choreograph the exercises to work with the music. You want to make sure that the timings of the music and your exercises work. I really recommend investing in a tripod. You can get a really cheap one on Amazon or eBay. This just really makes sure that the camera isn't shaking and it just will make your video look more professional. Something else that is really important is the angle which you place your camera at. I personally recommend coming in from a diagonal. So say if I am at the bar here, my left hand is on the bar, the camera would be on this sort of diagonal, but you can have a play around with it. You can do a few test shots and you can just see what you think looks best. But I think for most people, this is the best sort of angle. For center work, I personally just put the camera center and just facing completely forward at no angle. Try and make sure that, especially in the center, that the camera isn't too far away. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for whoever's watching the video to sort of see your foot placement. When you are going to film your video, I really recommend doing it with someone else. So it could be your friend and you can help each other out. And maybe on one day you do your friends and then you switch around. I think this is just really helpful because you have someone to press record. You can be there for support, as it can be quite a tough few hours. It will also save a lot of time. Someone else to help you. You're not running around and getting tired, sorting the angles out, pressing record. Also, if your friend's watching, then maybe they can help with some technical elements. If you're hiring a studio or you're booking a studio which you dance at, then I recommend booking it for a good few hours. Maybe you want to do a couple of hours on one day and then another couple of hours on the next day. Or maybe you just feel you want to get it all done in one day and you want to book it for a good 4 hours. But honestly, it does take a long time, a lot longer than I expected. It just means if you do book it a bit longer, then you're not stressing and worrying that the time's running out. I think it's a good idea to make your exercises at the bar a bit unique, because a lot of directors will be watching so many videos. If yours is that little bit different, that might make you stand out. Try and not make your video too long. I think 10 minutes is a great time. Honestly, it is unlikely that the director is gonna look through the whole video anyway. Do each exercise at the bar, but I don't think it's necessary to do both sides, so to turn around for each exercise. I don't think there's time for that. What you can do is, for example, in tongis, you can use the inside leg to show both legs. So with adage, you can do the same thing. You can use the inside leg going into arabesque, and you've used both. I think it's a good idea to wear point shoes. It's important to show strong point work as you're in point shoes for rehearsals all the time. There's no need to make the class and exercises super complicated. Make your exercises interesting, show a good technique with nice lines. If it's your first job, then most likely you're going to be going into the corps de ballet, so it's just important to show control and a good technique. Try and perform in the video just as you would at an audition, because as I say, this video is your audition, especially in these times. So it's important that the director can see that you can perform really well and you will be great on stage. Try not to be too critical when you're filming. If you've filmed an exercise sort of 3 times and you're still not happy with it, I do recommend just leaving it and moving on. And then if you do want to refilm that exercise, then going back to it later. Because if you just keep trying, it's just gonna waste a lot of time. You'll be getting yourself all worked up and it will probably just get worse and worse. So it's better to move on, start with another exercise and then go back to it. For the solos which you will film, I do recommend just choosing solos which suit your qualities and suit your strengths. It's a good opportunity to show that you can become a character and you can act. With the contemporary solo, if you're quite a leggy person, you're quite flexible, maybe you want to find one that has a lot of développés in, or if you've got a very sort of distinct way of moving, then maybe you'll look for a solo which really can show this off. I think it's good to spend a good amount of time just watching a lot of solos on YouTube. Is a great place. There's so many on there, and it's also just good to learn new things as it will help you develop new strengths. So that's all my tips for the classical ballet show reel, and now I have a few little things for contemporary and musical theatre show reels. This is not a field which I'm currently in, but I think the most important thing is to show how versatile you can be. So if you can do ballet, tap, jazz, singing, acting, show it all in your video. The more versatile you are, I think it makes you a lot stronger as a dancer, and it will just make you stand out if you can do so many different styles. Again, I think especially for musical theatre and jazz commercial show reels, I think you should really try and put on a performance as if you was on stage. And for a contemporary show reel, you're probably going to be asked to film yourself doing some improvisation. Just get into a studio and play some music which you're inspired to and just improvise. You can edit the parts of your improvisation which you really like. Just enjoy it if you get the chance to do that, and just really try and relax, because I think this will really show in the video. So with contemporary, you might be asked to send in your classical show reel too, as it's important to show that you have a classical bass technique. With all of this, I think what's important is to really just look at what the company is asking for and send in what is on the brief, because that will show that you've taken the time to look at what is being asked and you have then gone and filmed exactly what they want. With this whole process, it can get slightly stressful at times, but just try and enjoy it as much as you can. It's also good because obviously everything's going to be on film, which means you can then look back and you can jot a few things down which you might want to improve or enhance a bit further. So that could be quite a positive thing. All in all, just try and enjoy the process. I hope this has helped anyone who is about to create their show reel. If it did, give this video a big thumbs up, and I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel. And for anyone who is sending off their video, I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.